Greetings and salutation, friends, and welcome back to Truthseekers. Tonight, we're going to be exploring the Patterson Gimlin film. For those that don't know, this film, taken in 1967 originally on 16 millimeter film by one Roger Patterson, uh, is an intriguing look into Bigfoot mythology. This is, after all, the clearest, most well known footage of an alleged Bigfoot creature that has ever been captured on film. It is iconic in its sort of place in conspiracy land. Since 1967, everyone, from scientists to anthropologists to, let's see, creature effects designers, uh, anatomy experts, many different fields of researcher and learned men have weighed in on whether this film is of a genuine creature or a guy in a gorilla suit. I remember first seeing this probably in the late 1980s on an episode of Ripley's Believe It or Not. Remember that show? Hooked and intrigued. Wow, is that a real Bigfoot that somebody caught on film? Now, since then, there have been endless speculation and debate amongst, like I said, many learned people over whether the footage is real or a clever hoax. Some say that the footage could not have been faked for various reasons. People cite things like muscle movement in the creature or anatomical features in the creature's feet, its walking gait. There have been people who are supposed to be experts in human locomotion who said that it's impossible for this to be a man in a suit. As for myself, I have left open both possibilities since I first saw the film. I mean, there really are just two possibilities after all. Either the film is one of the greatest hoaxes that has ever been perpetrated, or it is footage of an actual living, breathing, ape like creature. There is just an inexhaustible, really, amount of material on the Patterson Gimlin footage online. There is everything from enhanced versions of the original footage to uh, scholarly papers written by scientists, most notably Jeff Meldrum, who you, if you're interested in Bigfoot, probably have seen on some of the Bigfoot documentaries, Bigfoot television shows that have been all over cable television in the last 10 years. He is perhaps one of the most well known actual real scientists who believes that the film is genuine for a variety of reasons. Now, first, friends, uh, I thought that we would watch some of the footage. I had a hard time actually. I wanted to show or present the original footage first that I remember seeing as a child that had not been enhanced, altered, zoomed in, or otherwise digitally manipulated. Um, I did manage to find not the original Bigfoot documentary that Roger Patterson made in 1967, but a related documentary, which I do remember seeing on Saturday afternoon once. Uh, it's called Bigfoot, Man or Beast. Robert Morgan documentary. And this was made in 1972, and it includes much of the original footage from the famous portion of the Patterson Gimlin film, which is the creature footage, the money shot. That's what everybody wants to see. So I thought that tonight I will begin my presentation with showing you the closest thing that I could find today to what the original sort of Patterson Gimlin creature footage film looked like, unaltered, unenhanced. I think that will give us a good baseline, and then we can look into some more recent digital enhancements that were done, which I have to say that some of these digital enhancements that people have done, stabilizing the film, zooming in on the creature, slowing the footage down, altering little things like, contrast and light levels. But we have to always keep in mind that this original footage was shot on 16 millimeter film. So the source footage, even if we have a first copy from the original footage, the quality is not great. But still, I have seen some people on the internet do amazing work altering, enhancing, and otherwise manipulating the photo to give us perhaps more information or a clearer view of the creature in this famous film. I'm going to cite fair use. I believe that this 1972 film is in the public domain. I've heard that from an expert. I'm not sure if that's the case. So we're still going to cite fair use. There may be copyrights involved. We're going to be showing a portion of this film, Bigfoot Man or Beast, and we're going to be discussing this film footage of this creature, critiquing and educating the public about this famous Bigfoot film. So let's take a look at our first part of our presentation tonight. And again, I've queued this up to where there's some shots in between, but we're going to get to see the closest that I could find to the original footage in portions of this clip that I will play. And again, this is from Bigfoot Man or Beast from 1972. And again, I'm going to cite fair use as we are using this as an educational tool and discussing it. Let's take a listen and watch.
Perhaps the most startling and far-reaching event in the recent history of Bigfoot hunting happened to a longtime investigator by the name of Roger Patterson. In October of 1967, he and a friend were in the Bluff Creek area of Northern California to investigate a reported sighting of two creatures. Suddenly his horse shied as a large creature stood erect from behind a log where it had been drinking from the creek. Patterson grabbed a 16-millimeter camera from the saddlebag and jumped from the back of the rearing horse to take the following pictures. Let's hear in Patterson's words exactly what happened that day.
As I walked across the sandbar, I was able to get some fairly good footage of it. It turned a couple of times and looked at us, and as it turned, it seemed to give me the impression that it didn't want anything to do with it. It didn't run, it didn't act scared, but yet it acted leery of us.
Patterson thought that he had proved once and for all that the creatures existed, but he found that even the film was in question. As a result, the footage was submitted to experts in various fields.
Yeah, and this film also talks to an expert in ape suits. The argument that this film was created by just a man walking in an ape suit, I've always had trouble with, and we'll see why in a little bit. I'm going to share some personal obsession that I had for some time, creating sort of my own. Let's listen to this expert first.
Among them was Janis Prohaska. Active in the motion picture industry since 1939 as an impersonator of animals of the ape family, Mr. Prohaska was convinced that Roger Patterson had filmed a living, wild creature.
The movement is the only thing what throwed me a little bad. because he moved a little bit more than more like a man than an animal. Because you could see all the muscles on the body and the whole movement. It didn't move like a costume at all. And
Yes, I have heard various people argue that the film has to be real because you can see muscle movement in the film. While the creature is walking, you see muscles in the legs moving. And Jeff Meldrum he wrote a whole scholarly paper on why it can't be a man in an ape suit. But again, let's hear from this expert, and then we'll see more footage from the actual famous film. What we're seeing right here on the screen is from the creature portion of the famous film, and it is mostly the closest thing to unaltered original footage that I could find.
the size of it was enormous, big size, so I don't know if they find a big man like that.
Mr. Prohashka, you mentioned that the creature did not move as if it were a costume. Do you think it would be possible to create such a costume?
That would be a difficult. I don't think so. Because that costume, if this would be a costume, that would have taken such a long time to put the hair. You should put the hair by glue them on. It would take about 10 hours, the whole makeup job. And it looked to me very, very real. I'm doing this since 1939. And if that was a costume, that was the best I have ever seen.
Also worthy of note that not long after the Patterson Gimlin footage, Planet of the Apes became very popular. And people have compared the Planet of the Apes costumes, which were later, in the early 70s, the state of Hollywood, technology to create ape suits. And I don't know, most people, including me, think that the creature shown in this film looks nothing like the Planet of the Apes costumes. But let's continue with a little more of this.
Ron Olson of the North American Wildlife Research Association has studied the Patterson footage as much as anyone. Ron, what did you see in this footage?
Well, this footage proved to me that these creatures are real and that they do exist.
Now, how tall would you estimate that one to be?
This creature was estimated by scientific methods to be about 7.5 to 8 feet tall. He was taking a stride of about 47 inches to 65. After he became spooked or more scared, he stretched to 65.
Yeah, and people have made, including anatomy experts, have somehow made the argument that the creature is taking steps that are way too big for a normal human of normal stature, 5.5 to 6 feet, adult male, to make. And this gentleman is making a similar argument here.
Now, how does the length of that stride compare to, well, let's say the average stride of a man?
Well, the average stride of a man is maximum stride of a man would be about 3 feet.
Now, that arm appears to be proportionately longer than, say, a human arm.
And while we have it, this is perhaps the most famous frame, or close to it, of the film, the turn. And this iconic image has been everywhere, all over conspiracy land, all over documentaries, all over book covers, etc. One of the things that I find most compelling about the film, and this is, how do I even approach this? The creature is female, or at least it is assumed that the creature is female because it has breasts. And one argument others have made, and I sort of agree with, is that if you were going to hoax a fake Bigfoot film with a fur suit, it would take a certain degree of, I don't know, it just seems strange to me if you were going to fake this creature that you would include breasts in a fur fake Bigfoot suit and film. But perhaps that is, if a hoaxer was trying to be really, really deceptive, they might think of that. Like, why would we include breasts, right? let's include breasts. I don't know, but it's worthy of note. And the creature in the film has been nicknamed Patty because apparently it is a female Bigfoot with breasts. Take from that what you will, but this Bigfoot has tits.
Have there been any estimates worked out on that?
Yes, there has. The arm is, and always has been in all sightings, in all cases, definitely longer than a human's. Here the creature shows large pendulous breasts. The indication here, of course, is that it is a female creature.
Do you expect to capture one of these?
Well, this is, of course, I suppose you'd call the finale of our whole program is to make a capture. We want to make a live capture, and with this, we are using tranquilizing equipment. We hope to bring one of these things in with a live capture, live and unharmed, to prove once and for all that this does exist. And since it does exist, maybe then there can be laws and things passed to protect these creatures so that they'll never become extinct.
Okay. 1 second, friends. I'm losing my place here. Got a lot of tabs open. So that is the closest to original footage or what the original footage looked like that I was able to find. Now I think it would be good to see some of the footage that I found that someone has sort of slowed down and enhanced a bit. I'm going to cue this up, so just bear with me. 1 second. Okay. So now we're going to share, this is just, you could find it on the internet, you could find it on YouTube, Patterson Gimlin foot slowed down and stabilized. And we'll perhaps see just a little bit more detail in this enhanced footage. And I have 2 clips of enhanced footage that I could share. Okay, let's take a look at that. And here we see a portion of the film that has been stabilized and enhanced. Now we're going to see it a little slower, smooth, and zoomed in on the actual creature. See, that looks as if they, turned up the contrast too. This version looks a bit darker. You can see the pads of the feet. Yeah, this one's not so great. So is a Bigfoot. Who knows? Let me find 1 second, friends. There's one more that I really there's one more that's probably like the first one you see. Patterson Gimlin Bigfoot film analysis, 4K stabilized color. 1 second, because I'm going to have to cue this up as well. Just bear with me, friends. I have to clip through these commercials. Again, we're going to cite fair use. Okay, 1 second. We get this queued up. And this one is in 4K. Somebody took the film, transferred it to 4K video, and then enhanced it. This one is a much better enhanced version of portions of the film. And again, we're going to cite fair use. I neglected to for the last clip, but again, in that last clip, we're citing fair use. We're educating the public about this Patterson Gimlin alleged Bigfoot film. That is the definition of fair use. And so we cite that in playing the last clip and in playing this clip as well. 1 second, friends. Yeah, here I'm gonna jump around here because this is a pretty long video and the person is doing commentary in between. Yeah, let's take a look. And you know, some of these arguments, like, well, you know, humans don't swing their arms like that when they're walking. Well, maybe if you were a guy in a Bigfoot suit and you were pretending to be a Bigfoot, you would swing your arms like that. Just my opinion, though. You know, I don't know. Yeah, and I think sometimes when people do these, you know, enhancements, it's kind of like it's worse in spots. This is so zoomed in, and there's only so many pixels there in a 16 millimeter film to work with. So I don't blame them for this looking so pixelated because it's so zoomed in. But I think some of this other footage we're going to see in a moment is a little better because it's zoomed out. Here we are. Yeah, and one thing I will agree with is that you do, it appears to me at least, that you see muscle movement. You definitely see muscle movement. We're going to skip ahead a bit here. He's comparing gorilla to the creature in the footage, finding a lot of similarities. Here we're going to skip ahead once again. This one is great. You know, he's going to play that backwards. I'm going to play that portion again. Definitely interesting when we see this film a little more enhanced, right? Okay, so let's drop out of that. Um, a few more things for my presentation on this tonight. I would like to present. Again, we're going to cite fair use. This This next clip I want to play is from Best Evidence Bigfoot 2007. And there's a reason I'm playing this is because Jeff Meldrum is in this talking about the footprints left by the Bigfoot creatures and the mid-tarsal break. It's a big argument of his that the tracks that are supposedly genuine Bigfoot tracks can't be faked because there is anatomical features called a mid-tarsal break, which humans lost, but apes still maintain in their, in their anatomy. And that Bigfoot still has this ape-like anatomy feature. So we're going to cite fair use. We're educating the public and discussing this Patterson Gimlin footage and Bigfoot in general. 1 second here. I'm going to find that. Best evidence. Yes, we'll share that. And this is in regard to the
one of the most distinctive features from my perspective as a student of foot anatomy and the resulting footprints is this feature which is referred to as the mid-tarsal break.
This ape-like feature allows the midfoot to flex in a continuous rolling step, unlike an arched human foot.
The Sasquatch foot is really quite fascinating in this respect that it seems to have retained that ape-like characteristic of midfoot flexibility while adapting to a terrestrial bipedal mode of locomotion.
And apes walk either one of the reasons they have this mid-tarsal break. But the curious thing to me is that it still has this enlarged big toe, which is only characteristic of humans.
The human foot is a fairly rigid platform that's used to propel our body weight over fairly even terrain, whereas the ape foot, and in this case the Sasquatch foot, is a much more flexible platform that allows for greater accommodation to irregularities in the surface of the ground that it moves across.
And Jeff Meldrum has really put his, I'm kind of surprised because he's like a college professor. And I do have to say, I respect the guy because he put his professional reputation online to be talking about Bigfoot and how it may be real. Yeah, that takes some courage if you're a member of academia. Let's continue with this for just a bit longer because now we're going to see some stuff on the Patterson Gimlin footage. And again, this is from Best Evidence Bigfoot 2007. We're citing fair use. We're discussing and critiquing and educating the public about this Patterson Gimlin footage and Bigfoot.
Enhanced footage and an elaborate experiment next on Best Evidence. It is one of the most controversial pieces of film footage in history. In 1967, two men, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin, were investigating reports of Bigfoot sightings near Bluff Creek in Northern California.
One thing I wanted to mention, just of a historical note, that this Patterson and Bob Gimlin, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin, went out on their very first trip with cameras to create a documentary. And I did always think that it was a little suspect that on their first outing out with the cameras, they got this footage. You can think that they are very, very lucky. That could be one explanation. But, I know people that are into Bigfoot, and they go Bigfoot hunting and everything, and they take cameras and thermal imagers, and they have never caught anything like this, and they do it all the time. They do it every other weekend for a year and never catch footage of a Bigfoot. Seems a little curious to me that the first time Patterson and Gimlin went out with these cameras, this is what they caught, but it is what it is.
After nearly 2 weeks in the woods, Patterson and Gimlin stumbled on an incredible creature and claimed to capture the first Sasquatch images ever on film. Since then, countless theories have tried to support or discredit the iconic footage.
Although I've examined this footage literally hundreds, if not thousands of times, every time I look at it, I'm struck by the implications of it.
Never before broadcast until now, leading Bigfoot authority Dr. Jeff Meldrum analyzes a new digitally enhanced copy of the film.
Well, the enhanced version of the Patterson Gimlin film provides a much greater clarity than I think has ever been appreciated before.
For Dr. Meldrum, enhanced film doesn't finally reveal a man in a fur suit.
I'm struck by the fact that what is portrayed here is an animal that is effective within its
Proponents that the film is real. Just want to mention that. He has written scholarly papers talking about the anatomy of the creature and how it cannot be a man in an ape suit. We'll see more on that in a bit.
It leads to new details that only deepen the mystery.
things like the movement of the shoulder blade beneath the skin, the definition of particular muscles in the shoulders and in the arms.
After studying footprints from where the film was shot, Dr. Meldrum is most interested in exactly how the bipedal animal moves.
The remarkable aspects of this footage still remain for me, from my perspective, my expertise, here from the ankles down. The action of the feet is so telling, and attempts to fabricate costumes to do this always fall short when it comes to the feet. And in this situation, we have the flexibility of the feet, which correlates so well with the record of the footprint casts that were documented at.
Yes, and again, he's also a big proponent of this mid-tarsal break that is found in many Bigfoot castings of Bigfoot tracks.
Side.
He is convinced the walking style is not only unique, but its gait is neither fully human nor ape.
Somewhere in between.
The subtlety of the gait, the impression of the massiveness, the inertia of this large subject.
This focus on the Sasquatch's walk leads to an unusual experiment, one that will test if Dr. Meldrum's theory has legs.
Could a man in a costume approximate the type of movements that are seen in the Patterson Gimlin film?
Dr. Meldrum is joined by lab director Dr. Jessica Rose.
1 second, friends. We're just going to cue this because it gets really, really long, but they basically put a guy in a suit and see if he can duplicate the walking gait.
It looks like a match, but definitive proof will come from the final data in the motion capture system. When we return, what will the gait test reveal?
1 second, friends. Again, we're going to skip forward and skip ahead.
Well, in my mind, there is absolutely no substance to those claims to hoaxing, that in fact, everything that I have experienced continues to point to the credibility of this piece of startling footage.
He's convinced whatever's on that film could lead to new findings.
I think it has reinvigorated the discussion of this film, which is now nearly 4 decades old.
Dr. Meldrum makes another key observation. If it was a costume in the 1967 film, it had to be extremely sophisticated.
Both of my colleagues.
That one point that he makes about the costume would have to be extremely sophisticated, I would tend to agree with. You don't get muscle movement in a cheap fur suit. You just don't. You don't get to see this level of detail in a cheap fur suit. You just don't. There would have to be one hell of a muscle-based undersuit. And I just don't think that these things were commonly, the materials to create them were not commonly available in 1967, at least to my knowledge.
Colleagues were also impressed by the fact that the costume which we had at our disposal today, which was a fairly elaborate costume, paled by comparison to the anatomical details.
Yeah, and here we see a muscle suit. This is what I'm talking about, a muscle undersuit. But even this was able to, do a decent job as a mock-up, but it's nowhere near the level of detail
that were evident in the Patterson Gimlin film.
When we return, how will an Oscar-winning special effects master assess the footage?
The more I see it, the more I think the head is just all wrong.
Next on Best Evidence.
Okay, friends. So as not to anger the copyright, we will cut from that. Now, friends, boy, I'm running a little long here. I've got a few more things to get through in our presentation tonight. One second. Now I'm having a hard time trying to find something. Of course. One second, friends. One second. I have a link here. This is to, I want to share a research paper by Jeff Meldrum where he breaks down why it can't be a man in a fursuit, at least according to Mr. Meldrum, which I believe it's Dr. Meldrum, I'm not sure. Okay, let's go and share that. Okay, one second. And this is written by Jeff Meldrum and Mr. Munz. I'm not familiar with him. And this is a paper which details surface anatomy and subcutaneous adipose tissue features in the analysis of the Patterson Gimlin film Hominid. And it's by Bill Munz and Jeff Meldrum. And this was published in 2013. Now, if you really want to go deep down this rabbit hole, you can read this entire, it's pretty long and winded article, but there's pictures for us stupid people. So he talks about folds in the creature's skin, right? The folds like that people have on their back, and the folds that a gorilla would have. And here we see a man in a fursuit, and you don't get those same anatomical features coming through a fursuit. And again, folds in the back, the small of the back, the lower back. Again, we see them evident in the creature on the film. Sorry for this, but what are you going to do? It's a scholarly article, so I apologize for the nudity shown here. And again, we see the same sort of feature in a gorilla. We see it in humans, and we see it in the creature in the film. And again, we see none of that in a fursuit. And I, for one, agree with everything in this paper because I built a Bigfoot suit, a very elaborate Bigfoot suit, which I'm going to share in a moment. Again, sorry for the nudity. They're talking about folds in the thigh and skin folds that are evident in the film, in the creature in the film. Muscle folds that you see, folds in the skin from fat and tissue. And again, in the fursuit, we don't see those same anatomical features coming through. Again, a fold here between the shoulder and the breasts. We see that in humans. We see it in the creature in the film. And again, we see it in chimpanzees and other apes. We do not see anything like that in the fursuit. And look, this fursuit has breasts as well. But okay. He just goes through each and every portion of this film. He finds anatomical features which would not be present in a man in a fursuit. I agree with Mr. Meldrum. For once, I have to agree with someone making what I feel are pretty fantastic claims. And here is why, friends. I'm going to share something personal. Once upon a time, I was doing stage magic shows, and I came up with an illusion, and I'm a big fan of Bigfoot, and there's a famous illusion in magic called the gorilla cage, and the gist of it goes like this. You show an empty cage, you cover the cage with a volard. That's a fancy magician name for a sheet. So you cover the cage, and then you whisk the sheet away, and there's a big scary gorilla in that cage, and the gorilla roars and screams, right? And then the gag is that the magician sort of goes, oh no, he's getting out. And then the cage breaks open, and the gorilla runs into the audience and scares the crap out of everybody. Great illusion. I wanted to do it a little differently, so I did an illusion, and we called it Summoning the Sasquatch. And it went very similar to the gorilla cage illusion, except we use a Sasquatch. But there was a big problem with my illusion, and here was the problem. I'm 6'4", 6'5" with big magic boots on. So when I summoned the Sasquatch and the Sasquatch appeared on the stage with me, the Sasquatch was shorter than me. And I saw a film of it and went, this looks stupid. There's no way that's Bigfoot if it's so much smaller than me. So I racked my brain to come up with a solution for how do we fix this. And then I did some research and settled on building up the costume so it wasn't just a man in a basically a brown gorilla suit. Instead, I opted to do something with arm and leg extensions. So where the person's real hand ended would be this handle, and the arm, there would be artificial arm extensions, right? And even we even had this contraption so that the Sasquatch could move its fingers, it looked like, and that was just simple levers and device that the person in the suit was wearing on their hands. And we also extended the legs of like 1.5 feet to make anybody in that suit much, much taller. And what's interesting is when I'm in the suit, it made me like 8.5 foot tall. So why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story just so that you know that when I say I don't believe that is a man in a creature suit in that Patterson Gimlin footage, I do have at least some experience building a Bigfoot suit, and mine was pretty elaborate. I looked for pictures, and I can only find early pictures of this creature suit that I developed. It got much better. We did a few, I guess you could call them iterations of my Sasquatch costume. This one looks a little primitive, but I'm still going to share it because it's interesting to see what people come up with when coming up with how do you make a Sasquatch look real and convincing. So I'm just going to share this from my Facebook. Why is this not coming up? There we go. So here is actually me in the suit, and we see that my actual hands end about here, and this is the arm extension that we're seeing here. This is I did this appearance for a friend who owns a comic shop, The Captain, Ontario Street Comics. Shout out to Ontario Street Comics if anybody is watching. That's probably, Ontario Street Comics is probably the only thing, well, maybe there's two. The only thing I miss about Philadelphia is Ontario Street Comics, which is just a great place to go. Bring your kids. There was always fun events there with, cosplay events and superheroes signing autographs for the kids. And I did a Bigfoot. He wanted to have a Bigfoot day. We had Bigfoot there. So this is me appearing at Ontario Street Comics, and hundreds of people took pictures with me that day. And I got to tell you that wearing a suit, a brown, this suit out in the hot sun all day was not fun. Okay. And here, though, we could see a really good shot. This is a really good shot showing the arm and leg extensions. Now, my actual feet start about here, right? And again, my hands are about here. And so this is arm extension, leg extensions, leg extensions. I mentioned that the suit got more elaborate later. After seeing, this was sort of an early version of the suit, and after seeing me in it, we realized that it needed an undersuit to make the shoulders bigger and to sort of hide those leg extensions a little better. And we did that. This suit is actually at the cabin right now. And someday I'm going to get that suit and use it again for something. I'm not quite sure what. But I just wanted to display that when I always go into, ask my wife, I drive her a little crazy. I tend to be a little obsessive. And when I tell my wife something like, I got to build a Sasquatch costume, she gets nervous because she's like, oh my God, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? What kind of crazy shit is he going to be doing for the next month trying to build this thing? I get a little obsessive, yes. And I want to do the very best job I can to make whatever I'm doing, if I'm doing a creature effect like that, make it as convincing as possible. And by the way, did that solve the problem that we had? Yes. Summoning the Sasquatch, the illusion, went much better once the Sasquatch could be much, much taller than the magician. It looked much more convincing. And so, friends, I did have one other thing to say, or one other thing to show, and that is about Mr. Gimlin, who sort of made the rounds, right, telling his story. And he is adamant that what he saw was a real creature. He wasn't in on a hoax. There's no man in a suit. Another interesting historical note is that there have been, I believe now, 3 different people have come out and claimed or said, I was in on this and I was the guy in the suit. Additionally, a gentleman from, I believe it's Morris Costumes, claimed that he made the suit. But then he shows a suit that looks nothing like the level of detail that we see in the actual film. Not sure what to think of the people that have come forward claiming they were the guy in the suit. To my knowledge, one of those gentlemen making claims that they were the guy in the suit, even passed a lie detector test, indicating that he was being truthful, which I found interesting, right? So, yeah, the debate rages on. We've got really, really smart professors, college professors, saying this can't be hoaxed. This can't be a guy in a suit, and here's why. He wrote scholarly articles on that. I am still on the fence about this thing. Do I want it to be real? Hell yeah, Bigfoot's awesome. Do I think it's real? I have my doubts, and we can talk about that in a moment. But first, I'm going to play you one final clip for this presentation, which is about Mr. Gimlin appearing at sort of Bigfoot conferences and the controversy behind this Bigfoot film. So let's take a look at that.
Dozens of fans filled the room, eager to hear about the age-old mysterious creature from the man who says he witnessed it firsthand.
I remember the feeling. It was just, yes, they really do exist.
Bob Gimlin says back in the 60s, if you told anyone you spotted the Sasquatch, they would think you were crazy.
First 35 years was difficult. Around where I lived, gee whiz, I was a real outcast. It hurt a little bit.
Yeah, at various times, both Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin claimed that the Bigfoot footage ruined their lives. Take from that what you will. If you decide that you will enter the realm of conspiracy land with something that you claim is real evidence, people love them for bringing this forward, and some people hate them and call them fakers and hoaxers. You never know how people will react.
It hurt a lot.
But he says nowadays with advanced technology, it's a different story.
It's been kind of a tough subject to deal with, really, in the early days. Not like now, not like there's so much sightings and so much evidence out there now.
Gimlin going around sharing his experience, getting support from fans like never before, something he thinks his good friend Roger would have loved to see.
I wish he was still alive so that he could enjoy the advancement that we have created.
As for those who are still skeptical,
Well, think whatever you want to think. I know what I saw.
And Gimlin says his next stop on tour will be in Texas next week. To hear more of Gimlin's interview on things like such as Bigfoot and aliens, we'll have that raw footage on our website, yourcentralvalley.com. For now, live in the studio, I'm Angelica Leilani, KC24 Local News That Matters.
And again, this was a local news clip from a local news station that was covering Mr. Gimlin and his appearance at a local Bigfoot convention. And I just want to quickly mention that we're citing fair use. We're educating the public about this Patterson Gimlin footage, and that is definitely fair use. So, yeah, we have to keep the copyright strikes away, friends. We're trying to educate people, and, you know, it is what it is. Buffering. Yeah, I'm sorry for the buffering, friends. Yeah, it looks like the internet has been wonky here all day. And, you know, I hate to say this because I'm sort of blaming my children earlier because they got 7 devices running on, you know, all playing HD videos that they're not watching at once, you know. Got a couple tablets, phones, my wife's on the laptop. We try to shut all that stuff down so there wouldn't be buffering. I apologize if that is the case. Okay, I'm going to get caught up in the live chat. And I guess just to wrap up, I mentioned that I have serious doubts about this film. It's because it's so fantastical. I mean, what if it is real? But this, friends, is one of those strange stories, strange and mysterious stories in conspiracy land, Bigfoot, you know, community, whatever you want to call it, where the debate continues to rage on. I'm thankful because I've heard through some research efforts that someone is now in communication, or had been, this has already happened, had been in communication with Roger Patterson's family. And they got access to the original reel-to-reel film. And they used the best technology available to digitize each frame of the actual original film so that it will be preserved for the sake of history and, I suppose, for people's future and further research efforts. I sort of was late into trying to find where can I see that. I was unable to find the super new digitized version of the original film. If somebody has a link, yeah, if somebody has the link, please, or can find that for me, I would be very interested in seeing that. So the other doubts that I have, here's what I'll say. We always, when evaluating evidence presented to us, we have to take into account the integrity and the reputation of the person presenting the evidence. Mr. Patterson specifically has let's just say he had a checkered past of not having a job. He was sort of thought he was an inventor and that he would live off of some of his great inventions, but none of them ever panned out. Not quite sure how he raised a family, not having a real job for so long. But after this footage hit, it sort of became his full-time job to be a Bigfoot guy for quite a while, doing, you know, talks, lectures, talking about the film, and doing his own film projects, which of course were sold. And again, one of the other things is Mr. Patterson was very smart in copywriting this film of his. So generally, every news outlet that ever showed a piece of that footage, every documentary that ever showed a piece of that footage, every Bigfoot television show that ever showed a piece of that footage, everyone had to give him some money every time they showed the footage. We're citing fair use, and he won't be getting, or his family, I guess, who's now the rights holder, won't be getting any money from us. But that was a pretty smart business move on his part. So his checkered past as not ever really having a real job for years and years and years before this sort of impedes his credibility in my mind. The other problem is that he literally borrowed money to rent these cameras and make this Bigfoot documentary. And remember, this is before he got the money shot. This, of course, this is the money shot. That's another thing that gives me a little bit of pause. You know, uh, he wants to make a documentary about Bigfoot. And you got to know that if you get a money shot like this, that documentary is going to sell, right? That documentary is going to do great if you get this money shot. And we heard in some of these clips, they went out in the woods and within 2 weeks, they got the money shot. And again, I know people that have been going out with films and thermal imagers and all kinds of equipment for years, and they've never gotten any kind of good footage. Nothing like this. Nothing like this. So, I'm still left with doubts that it's real. But then I start listening to very educated men like Jeff Meldrum and others. I've heard anthropologists over the years talk about this film and its possible authenticity. I've heard anatomy experts. People have claimed that you can't duplicate the walking gait or the strides. It's a huge debate. It's a huge debate about whether this is real and genuine footage or whether this is an elaborate hoax. What I will say, if they did this, it is a work of genius. If they faked it, it is a work of genius. The level of detail in 1967 that they put into that Bigfoot suit it's hard to believe that it would be a hoax with the level of detail and how this film, if it is a hoax, has fooled even very educated people into getting on board with it and saying, there's muscle movement here, there's this here, there's that there. The whole issue with breasts being on the creature is crazy to me. Why would you add breasts to the creature? And again, I have some experience with Bigfoot suits, created my own very elaborate Bigfoot suit that we saw earlier tonight. And I guess you can also see from my passion about creating that suit. And, I'm a huge fan of Bigfoot. I wish that it was real. There's something about that missing link, right? That missing link between animal and man. We all want to find that. We all want to find that and maybe feel a little less alone in the world. There's another human-like species besides us. It's also interesting to note that science is sort of catching up to what a lot of, I guess, Bigfoot hunters or whatever have been saying for years and years, in that there was a time on planet Earth when there was multiple species of hominids on the Earth at the same time. And that is very interesting. So I'm not sure the jury's still out for me on this film. And I'm sorry that if you came here looking to see if I know the truth about this film, I'm sorry if I disappointed you. I don't know the truth about this film. I wish I did. I have been fascinated with this particular, 30 seconds of film for my entire life, or most of it, since I first saw it as a child. It has ignited my imagination. It has sort of inspired me to create my own creature effects and things like that. It's been just a fixture in my life. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, right? Isn't that funny how some things just keep coming back to you in cycles? Every once in a while, this will come back to me. Somebody will email me. Have you seen this enhanced version of the Patterson Gimlin? No. Let's check it out. Right? We gotta keep looking into this. It has been an interesting subject, and I'm always interested in hearing more analysis from experts, more experiments to see if we could determine if it's real or not real. But I'm really still left unsure, and that's where I will remain. And I will probably continue to look into these subjects and be fascinated by the debate, the analysis, and the science that people are putting into even so many years later. I mean, 1967 is when this came out. The debate rages on, friends. And with that, I will finally turn my attention completely and totally to the live chat. Well, there you go. How can you afford a great Bigfoot suit? Yes, I would have to say that if this is a Bigfoot suit, in 1967, it would have been hella expensive to create something with that level of detail. I believe I've even heard the creature designer behind the Planet of the Apes ape suit say that he doesn't think somebody could have created that without a huge budget. And somebody said, good observation, Brad Gray. Oh, I'm way behind again. Sorry. Cal Korf is here. Yeah, I mentioned that there has been several men, Cal Korf, who said they wore the suit. We put both back in a TV special for National Geographic. Yes, Annie encourages him to do this. But Mr. Korf, as many people who argue that that man who wore the suit is telling the truth, argue that he's lying for various reasons. And I know from experience in the magic community that this person from Morris Costumes who claimed to have made the suit is a less than trustworthy individual. I can cite various reasons why, but I'm not sure that I believe that he created the suit. The suit that he showed bore very little resemblance to the suit that we see in the footage, so I'm not sure what to believe. Deviated says, maybe it was an accidental money shot. Maybe he was surprised as the Bigfoot. Yeah, maybe. William Pixley, great comment. If this is fake, it truly is an amazingly well done. Yeah, I agree with that. If it's fake, it's a very well done fake. And maybe I'll take my Bigfoot suit out in the woods and try to film it. But I'm afraid to do that at the cabin because I think some crazy hillbilly will see me doing that and shoot me. So, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do with my Bigfoot suit. I had plans to, once I finish building a studio, which will be one of the additions onto the cabin, I will probably just make it a statue, a big statue in the corner, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Like, here's a big, huge fireplace, and over here in the corner, we got a big, huge 10-foot tall statue of a Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Okay, let's see. Jeanette Krasenko, Salt Fork State Park, 3 sightings in 2020, 3 Bigfoot sightings. Interesting. How about being thrown from the horse? Yes, that's an interesting part of the story. Out of Mind says, maybe a female made the suit. Sexist. Yeah, it could be. Brad Gray says, breasts. William Pixley says, I am doing some research on that multiple hominid issue as we speak. Yes, it's exciting stuff to find out that there were multiple species of hominid. Spud Wife, thank you. Steven seems very serious tonight, very professional. You know, Spud Wife, I spent a good portion of my day. Listen, let's address some business while we're talking about, while you mention it, I'm going to address some business here, and that is this. It seems to me, and I know that people have my, boy, how am I going to say this? I know that everybody has my best interests in mind when they do this, but I am getting a huge amount of people sending me messages, which goes something like this. Did you see what this asshole said about you and your show on Twitter? And of course I got to go look at it, right? But I know that people mean well when they do that, but I'm getting so many messages like that of, did you see what this person said about your show on Facebook? And it's all disparaging and nasty comments, and people angry or upset at me for various reasons, whatever. So what I'm going to request is that please, people don't do that anymore. I see enough of it myself. I don't need people finding it for me and sending me links, because then I feel obligated to read all of this shit, and I would rather not immerse myself in other people's negative nonsense. I know that people are going to be upset with me for bursting their delusions. Cal Korf is in the live chat. He knows a thing or two about this. Cal Korf is a lightning rod for pissed off people that believe in some of this shit and don't like him showing them the truth behind a lot of it. And likewise, I'm getting a fair share, a good share of that same kind of shit. And it just doesn't do anything for me. Here's what else I will say. I generally, I guess I read what people are saying, but it's mostly personal attacks. They're not attacking the facts or the evidence that I'm presenting on my show. They're attacking me personally. Every one of the attacks has been very just and they don't, or they've heard some, let's just say, bitter, angry little person. Listen, I gotta say this too. There was a few people that were supposed to be, I guess, involved in helping me with this show, and it just didn't work out. And I'm not gonna say anything negative about those people, but here's what I'll say. If you were expecting like a 50-50 share of my show for doing next to nothing, things don't work out sometimes. And I just said, you know what? I don't want to wait for people to do things that I can do myself, like thumbnail images for the videos or graphics or whatever. I just rather do everything myself and not depend on other people, because maybe it's just me, but every time that I depend on somebody else to do things for me in a creative endeavor like this, it doesn't work out. They don't do what they're supposed to do. Nobody is going to work harder on this show than me. And I get that. So, but I can't wait for other people. So, maybe some people are pissed off because I don't really know. I don't know, but I know that a lot of people are talking shit behind my back and smiling to my face. And that is a cowardly, bitter, angry little kind of thing to do, right? If you're pissed off at me, don't talk shit to other people. Don't tell people fake stories about me and what kind of a person I am. Come to me, right? Come to me, say it to my face, and we'll work it out. Or we won't. But a lot of these shit-talking people on Twitter and Facebook or whatever are saying ridiculous shit that is just rumors and has nothing to do with reality. Out of Mind says, if they attack you, then you are doing a good job. Put them on ignore. You rock. Thanks, Out of Mind. And here's the deal. The other thing I'm going to say is that, look, I've never measured my own success by things like views, right? And I think that's kind of funny too. I'm getting a lot of attacks like, that's the reason you only get this many views, because you suck. I just started this show. We're just getting started, you assholes. So show me your show that you wrote, produced, did all the research for, host it yourself, run 3 cameras and the lighting, did all this shit. You can't. So I don't really take much stock in critics that can't show me better. Show me better. If you're going to talk shit, then show me your channel that's doing better, and that you started about the same time I did a few months ago, right? They can't. They're just going to talk shit. Oh, I'm getting way off track here. My point is, please, everyone, don't send me anything that somebody said. I don't care. I really don't care what people are saying, especially negative comments about the show, me, especially personal attacks. If somebody says that my facts or evidence are wrong and here's why, I'd probably be interested in seeing that. But, if they're just talking smack and they live in their mom's basement, fuck them, right? That's how I feel about it. You live in your mom's basement. You don't have the right to criticize anything I'm doing because you're a failure and a loser that lives in your fucking mother's basement, you asshole. All right, let's move on. Lee Veltman Some people are going to regret all the two-faced smack talking soon, especially if they're involved in the LARPing hoaxes. Yeah. Yeah, Phil Blair, wait, what? Who's pissed off? Just a few internet troll assholes, that suddenly decide they don't like me because I burst their bubble. And it's like people who believe that Linda Moulton Howe has accurate and factual information, and they're getting mad at me for saying something about Linda Moulton Howe or shit like that. It's just ridiculous. And you know what? If you're fucking stupid enough to believe Linda Moulton Howe's stories, then you deserve to stay an ignorant idiot. Okay? I can't help you. If you're dumb enough to believe Linda Moulton Howe's bullshit fake stories, I can't help you. You got to ignore reality to believe that shit she's selling over there. So fine. And that's the other thing. There's so many options here, right? There's thousands of YouTube live streams. If you don't like mine, don't spend all day on Twitter talking smack about me and what an asshole I am. Just don't watch. Click off, you dumb fuck. Click off. Click off. Go find some fucking fairy tales, right? There's plenty of channels just selling people fairy tales. Go find that. And you know what else? I'm doing the best that I can here. I'm human. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm never going to make everybody happy. I'm not trying to make everybody happy, right? I'm trying to make myself, I'm trying to go on this journey myself. I am also inviting others to come with me. Am I going to get it all right? Fuck no. I'm a human. I'm going to make mistakes constantly. And, this is where we're at, though. So I guess the general point is I don't really want to hear, I don't want people sending me links about smack talkers or shit talkers or what this guy said and that guy said. Because, honestly, yeah, I'm human. And some of that stuff really pissed me off today. I'm doing the best that I can. Jean-Claude is here from Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic. Tell us what you really think and feel, Stephen. Love you, bro. Thank you, Jean-Claude. I really appreciate it. Today, I watched your show with Cliff High, and I'm not sure what to say. I love Cliff High, but some of the stuff he talks about is a little fucking woo-woo crazy, too. But God bless that guy. Good guy. Jeanette Kuzenko, but how do you really feel? William Pixley, you are sincere in your purposes, Stephen. God bless you. Yeah, thank you. No one gets it all right. Oh, here we go, William Pixley. Yeah, okay. So, point taken. I will take your point. Saying nothing and acting like it is just okay is not okay, especially in 2020. Yeah. I don't like you because you refuse to try pineapple on your pizza. Fuck you, Philip Blair. Pineapple does not belong on a fucking pizza. You can put almost anything on a pizza you want, but not fucking pineapple. That's just wrong. It's just wrong. And, I used to think the same thing. I once had this, very health-conscious girlfriend, and she was always doing dumb shit, like saying, I'm going to order some pizza. Are you hungry? And I'd go, sure. And then she'd order some fucking Alfredo broccoli pizza or some shit like that. What did you just do? This is not fucking pizza, you dumb bitch. This is a fucking abomination. White Alfredo sauce and broccoli. This is not pizza. Okay. I don't know what Lee Beltman is talking about. It will come out soon, out of mind. Some people need to be exposed for remaining silent. Now I got to get with Lee Beltman and hear what that dirt's about. See? This is what I'm saying. You go down this shit talking, rabbit hole of fucking rumors and shit that's going on behind the scenes. And, I don't know. Phil Blair, oh, you're so wrong. Okay. Pineapple and bacon. Look, bacon on a pizza is perfectly fine. In fact, I encourage bacon on everything. A lot of people thought it was funny. I posted pictures of me doing cookouts at the cabin. I wrap corn on the cob in bacon. I put bacon on everything, Jean-Claude. And by the way, I mean real bacon, American bacon. Fuck you and your Canadian bacon, you French-Canadian asshole. That's not bacon. That's called ham, you assholes up there in Canada. That's not real bacon. We have real bacon. You have ham that you call bacon. Canadian bacon. Rick Von Himmlich, Splooner. He likes pineapples on pizza. No. Pineapple rocks. No. No, we can't have pineapple on pizza, friends. Oh, yeah, I've seen this. Philip Blair. He's posting a link to Bigfoot and on a like a PennDOT. Well, we call it PennDOT here. The Transportation Authority camera in Eastern Washington caught what they think is a Bigfoot. Looks to me like a guy in a hoodie, but okay. Brad Gray. Brad Gray says, I worked for a company called Canadian Bacon. Well, that's pretty strange. William Pixley says, I'm wrong. I guess we're still talking about pineapple on a pizza. Just don't put ketchup on my poutine. You know, I never knew what that was. Somebody near my cabin had me try poutine, and I was like, wow, this is pretty good. I may learn to make that. I haven't had bacon. Carrie So Very. Welcome, Carrie So Very. I haven't had bacon or any pork in 4 years. They don't sell beef bacon where I live, sadly. That is sad. 4 years without bacon is a sad thing, Carrie So Very. I feel terrible for you. I think we should all take up a collection for Carrie So Very and send her bacon. It's so funny. There's a Dollar General. If you don't know what that is, it's just like a discount store. It's kind of like a dollar store, but they have more than just dollar store stuff, and it's kind of like a mini supermarket too. And they sell bacon, and it's like a few miles from my cabin, so I always keep well stocked on the bacon. Absolutely. I hear Canadian Bacon was a good movie. Haven't seen it yet. William Pixley, is Canadian Bacon what the Gimlin Bigfoot seeks? Inquiring minds. Yeah, inquiring minds want to know. I always bust Canadian people's balls about that. That and maple syrup is bullshit. Canadian maple syrup is bullshit, John Claude. I say the same thing to Jason Quitt. It's not real. Poutine with bacon. That would be good. Yeah, friends, so I'm actually gonna wrap things up in a few minutes here because I have a great deal of other shows to prepare. And I think that we're kind of reaching a point of this is a good way, kind of like a good rhythm that we have going. Me doing a presentation about the subject, and then we can talk about it in a live chat after the presentation. But I may change some things up, and yeah, I don't know about shows for the next several days because I'm going to be going to the cabin Friday morning. And we're going to have all these guests this weekend. So it's going to be very difficult for me to find some place to stream when there's going to be so many people at the cabin. I think let's see, we have two of my sisters-in-law, two of my wife's sisters are coming, and one of their children, and my mother-in-law, and a niece. So we're going to have, the cabin's going to be pretty filled up, and there may be nowhere to do. Paranormal Hajigi, doesn't your bacon attract the bears? Yes, I learned my lesson, and I no longer cook bacon at the cabin outside of the cabin because I'm told by the locals with much more experience with bears than me that bears are highly attracted to the smell of bacon grease. So I cook the bacon inside, and generally I close the windows too. Since that run-in with the bear, I'm being very careful. Fuck those bears. Deviate it. We demand a stream. Here's what I will do. Deviate it. I'm going to take a laptop with me. And if the Wi-Fi will reach to the back of the cabin, I got this huge fire pit back there that I barely use. And I've got a ton of old wood and shit laying around the cabin. So I'm going to see if I can't get a bonfire going and stream from right in front of the bonfire. You do you. Go to the cabin and make the best memories. No reason to explain. Thank you, KB. I'm glad that everybody understands. But I like to just leave people be informed. Like, if you don't see a stream from me in the next couple of days, it's because I'm filled up with family and there's no real way for me to do it. And also, yeah, you got to take that time and spend time with family. And I always feel a little bit like, everything is balanced. If I spend too much time on the show, I feel like, I should be doing something with one of my sons or my wife, or everything is about balance. Mario Heat. Elizabeth's children against Cambion. I'm not sure what that means. Mario Heat, please explain. Oh, Carrie, so very. In North Carolina, we couldn't put any trash out after 2 p.m. where we were staying. There were bears everywhere. Mm-hmm. Deviate it. Fireside stream. Let's hope so. Yeah, and if we do that, you guys have to realize also, a disclaimer, if I do a stream this weekend, I'm doing a stream while I'm on vacation. So we're going to keep it light and fun and just do like a fireside chat and not anything too serious. Philip Blair, your cabin sounds huge like David Wilcock's cabin. No, it is, let me see, it is 24 by 24. Not a huge cabin. Not at all. And especially not a huge cabin when there's, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 people sleeping in it. It's not huge at all. Yes, and Philip Blair shares this apparent Bigfoot footage, which to me, I saw that, Philip Blair, and it looks like a guy in a hoodie. That's just my interpretation. I could be wrong. Mario Heat. Canadians, Australians, New Zealanders, and all Commonwealth countries against Cambion. It's my new group in response to your blasphemy against Canada. All right, bring it on. Wait a minute, Mario Heat. You're Canadian? Really? I did not know that. And besides, shouldn't you just be polite and forgive me like a real good Canadian person would? Any David Wilcock dildos hidden at the cabin? No, I thought that would be too easy, and I thought that he might be able to track down where that cabin is. I doubt it. He's not a good researcher. He's kind of fucking stupid. But just in case, maybe he hired a smart guy that could find that cabin. I didn't put any of the David Wilcock dildos near that. Don Crazeface. I bounced at a bar in Rocky Mountains every night. We had to make noise before putting the trash out because bears. Yeah, they love dumpsters, man. They love dumpsters. Well, and we have a comment from the Twitch live chat. Do you believe in aliens? Yes, I do. I absolutely believe in aliens. Sweet Polly P, we should get together. Another comment from the Twitch live chat. Welcome, Wayne Lineker. And let me put this one back. Big John Little Change, welcome to our little show on the internet. I'm so happy that you are in the Twitch live chat. We're trying to get the Twitch live chat going. Generally, Monday through Friday, we do a show at 10 p.m. So if you like these kind of strange subjects, please come back into our live chat in Twitch or into YouTube live chat and welcome new friend, Big John Little Change. And welcome as well, Wayne Lineker, who says hello. Hello, Wayne Lineker. It's good that you are in the Twitch live chat. It looks like people are starting to actually go to the Twitch live chat, which I am excited about. That will be another live chat going on at the same time as our YouTube live chat. And folks should be aware, I get all of the comments in my own chat, but the two live chat systems don't intercommunicate. In other words, if you're in the YouTube chat, you're only going to see people in the YouTube chat's comments. If you're in the Twitch chat, you're only going to see Twitch users' comments. But welcome, Wayne Lineker. If you like subjects like this, about strange and mysterious things, Truthseekers is probably a good place for you to come and spend some time. And we're happy that you found us. Okay. Mario E, you're going to have the polite cartel come after you now, Cambion. Yeah, I hope not. Okay, there's two Truth Seekers, one from Sherman Pass and another. I'll have to look at those offline. William Pixley says, bears are never really scared of people. They are usually just kind of dorky and interested in food, kind of like stoners. Yeah, maybe. I'm in Southwest Ohio, 30 miles north of Ohio River. We're neighbors, William Pixley. Yeah, it's a small world after all, right? Wow. Yeah, Twitch represent. But now somebody's saying some really weird shit in the Twitch chat about being anally probed. So, yeah. If anyone says, "Do you believe in aliens?" I say yes. I have a mirror, don't you? Okay. And Out of Mind is always reminding people kindly to send me some money. You can donate by PayPal or you can donate by Patreon. We would very much appreciate your continued or your new support. I'm trying to figure out how to do a bumper to thank the Patreon people and the PayPal donators, because they really are helping to keep the show running, and they should be thanked and recognized. Boy, I'm going to start closing down tabs here because it's getting crazy. I got so many tabs open right now. 1 second, friends. Let's see here. Yeah, I tried to go to. Okay, I'm going to log into my PayPal account just to make sure. If you do use the PayPal donate button and donate a few dollars, please include your, or a few $1,000s, feeling generous. Please include your user ID in the live chat and whatever message in the note. It allows you to add a note. So, for example, Brad Gray, if you're Brad Gray donating, say, from Brad Gray, and then a note of what you would like me to read on the air, and we will do that for you. Okay. Twitch is like YouTube for the diplomats. Yeah, maybe. Don Craze Phase, not the anally probe crap again. Come up with some new material. William Pixley, Out of Mind is the best. Yes, good friend of the show, always concerned, trying to help me get paid. And getting paid is a good thing, right? Absolutely. Jonaside says, Sasquatch loves pineapple on his pizza. Then Sasquatch is stupid too. Yes, send me $333 for contact at the cabin. Yes, we'll do that. If people want to give me $333, man, you're going to see flying saucers. You're going to see a Bigfoot. You're going to see all kinds of shit. And it's only $333. Come on, you cheap fuckers. Put up some money. Did you ever get the ticker tape working? I had sent you procedure and screenshots in response to your email. Jean-Claude, I haven't had time. It's on. I literally have a to-do list right over there, and it's written. Figure out the ticker tape from Jean-Claude. So I will get to that. Thank you. I looked at it briefly, and I think I understand how to do it. I just haven't tried to do it yet. But I'm going to get that going, and I appreciate your help with that. Okay, maybe we could hold a backyard con at your cabin next year, Stephen. Absolutely. I'm sorry you were violated, Brad Gray. Another Twitch user, Orc Boo, says, I've seen you in my dreams. Orc Boo, I'm not quite sure what that means. But if you did see me in your dreams, maybe it just meant, maybe it was a premonition that you were supposed to come and be in my Twitch live chat and be here to help get the Twitch live chat going. If you like mysterious and strange subjects, Truthseekers may be a good place for you to come and hang out. We generally do shows at 10 p.m. Weekday nights, sometimes on the weekends as well. Please don't be a stranger. I'm glad to see you here. I'm glad that you found us. And please do come back. Welcome, Orc Boo, from the Twitch live chat. Okay, friends, so we're just reaching an hour and 30 minutes, and I think this would be a good time. And Jonaside says, in my dream, Stephen is eating Hawaiian pizza with Sasquatch. That's about the only time I would eat a Hawaiian pizza. If I could hang out with Sasquatch while I was eating it, then I would be interested then. Yes, I'm a BG's. I am a closet pineapple on pizza eater. Sometimes. No, I've never liked pineapple on pizza. I don't think I ever will. No. And I don't like all those weird pizzas like I mentioned. If you put Alfredo sauce on dough and put no cheese and broccoli on it, I don't think that's qualifies as pizza. That's something that's garbage. That's not pizza. What's the PayPal to Steven's super chats? Rick von Himmlich-Spluner, we don't have super chat donations yet. We haven't reached the YouTube requirements for it. But if you want a PayPal, you go to my About page, and there you will find a donate, PayPal donate button. And if I don't get your PayPal donation before the show ends in a few minutes, I will gladly read out your message the following evening. And thank you for your previous donation. It is much appreciated. It is much appreciated. And you know what, friends? I'm gonna go and check out the Twitch. I'm gonna try to go and check out the Twitch. You know, things are pretty difficult here. And for those that don't know, the address for the Twitch stream is www.twitch.tv/Truthseeker Show. I'm going to go and check that just to see, you know, how many people are in that chat. And I see that we are live on Twitch. And again, we're having buffering and weird issues here. So I'm having even a difficult time verifying. But I noticed that we went up to 9 followers. I'm not sure, friends, but I think, and I see 5 people watching on Twitch, which is up from 1 or 2. So I call that a success. Things are improving. No dill pickles on pizza. Absolutely not. Dill pickles do not belong on pizza. Wayne Lineker. Yeah, your questions are a little weird, and they're kind of like, I don't really know how to respond to some of your questions. But thank you for being in the live chat. I'm glad that you're here. Everyone's welcome, even people asking weird, strange questions. Everyone is more than welcome here, and so are you. I'm glad to see you in the live chat. We really need to get more people in the Twitch stream and the Twitch live chat, so I'm glad to see some people are finding it, including you. Strange as your questions are, they seemed a little not really on the topic that we were talking about, so I only put a few of them up. Please forgive me for that. So, friends, yeah, I think, I'm not sure, but I think we only need to get like 1 more follower on Twitch, and then people are allowed to throw money at me on Twitch. So if you have a Twitch account, friends, please go over there and follow. Again, it's www.twitch.tv/Truthseekers Show. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. We need 1 more Twitch follower, and then Twitch people can just give me money. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. We need the cash. Oh, Jiggy, or is that, no, that's Smoke King, I believe, is in the Twitch chat. Thank you, Smoke King. Make sure you follow me over there. I need 1 more follower, I think, to get the Twitch cash. Come on, man. We can get 1 more follower. Yeah, we can get 1 more follower. And Out of Mind is mentioning the Patreon. You give me $1, and then you get a backstage pass, and you get all kinds of goodies. It's only $1 a month. I would appreciate it. Oh, I don't even know what to make of this. I'm a man with 1 arm and 11 fingers. Am I welcome? Sure. I'm not sure why I only have 1 arm and 11 fingers, but you're very welcome, Orc Boo. Are you sat in the Death Star? Not that I'm aware of. Never sat in the Death Star. Oh, Paranormal Jiggy says, nope, that was me. Okay, well, thanks for being over there, Paranormal Jiggy. I appreciate it. Please follow me on Twitch. I think Twitch is Twitch has got a different system, and here's how the Twitch money system works. You have to purchase tokens from Twitch to give to streamers. So they require very little for somebody to be able to take Twitch money. And I think it's only 10 followers. And right now we're at 9. So, yeah, we only need one more and then we can get some Twitch cash. Twitch money. I need Twitch money. Twitch money. Twitch money. Yeah, money. Good. Money good. Praise the cash, friends. We're trying to move things forward. Jiggy on Twitch. Yes. Welcome, Jiggy. Conspiracy. Wise decision, Stephen. Yeah, I suppose so. Well, friends, it's been a long day as usual here. We are going to wrap things up here. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me and coming along with me, going down some of these strange rabbit holes. I have a huge folder of more shows prepped and planned, locked and loaded. And despite the critics and the naysayers, we will continue to plow forward here. And as far as the negative comments about the number of views or number of subscribers and you're a loser, okay, it's a brand new channel. Wait, watch, and you just may eat your fucking stupid, nasty, negative words someday, you assholes. But I don't want to end on a negative. So I'll try to flip things back around to a positive. On the positive side, we have seen slow, steady increases and wins, right? Like the Twitch now. We had, before I started the Twitch stream and we had 0 followers, nobody in the live chat, 0 views, and there's 5 people over there watching. We've had some people in the Twitch chat. It's going to build. It's just going to take some time to get it there. And like any garden, this garden needs watering daily. It needs the work. You have to put the time, you have to put the energy, you have to put the dedication, the effort, the passion into it. I'm showing up, friends. I'm here every day working on this thing, and I'm going to continue to do that. I will never please. You can't please all the people all the time. Never. Melissa is here. I know a guy with very big breasts, small foot, however. Well, this is the most bizarre night of comments so far. But welcome, Melissa. I'm glad to see you back here once again. I'm glad that you found us. And that's another thing I'm thankful for. It seems like 2 things have been happening that are increasing our subscriber count and the amount of people participating. And that is I'm sorry. I didn't lose my train of thought. I just have to be careful on how I say this. My previous show was on a paranormal radio network, podcast network, and I wasn't really, I couldn't really promote this new show while doing that. So it's basically like I disappeared from that arena. And then every listener that was used to listening to me and my show and participating in my show over there, most of them didn't know that I started a new show because I'm terrible at things like email lists. And, I put everything out on my Twitter, but some people just showed up to listen didn't even know. I'm getting emails almost every day. I had no idea you were doing a new show. I'm glad that I found you, and I'm glad that they're finding me too. So we have the previous listeners from my old show, The Midnight Hour, are slowly funneling in and finding our new show here, Truthseekers. And we're also just growing and expanding and finding new people. One of the best ways, friends, that you can support me, there's a few ways to support me. You could support me with money, and money is good, right? You can give me a few dollars on PayPal. You can give me a few dollars on Patreon, or $1 a month at the very least. That's the minimum buy-in for the Patreon. Soon you'll be able to throw Twitch money at me. That's great. And the other way that you could support me, I understand money is tight for everyone, including me right now. There's a few people that I would like to support more. A few content creators I'd really like to support more, but I'm broke as shit right now. So what I do and what I'm asking you to do is like, comment, subscribe, share, and go one step further. Please, if you know somebody that enjoys these kind of subjects we cover, send them an email, send them a DM, send them a PM, right? And include the link to the show and say, you should subscribe, you would like this, and let them come and check us out. So what I was talking about ending on a more positive note, the positive thing that I'm feeling is it's a slow, steady process building something new, right? But every day I am seeing great progress, little wins here, little wins there. And that, my friends, is what is keeping me engaged. Starting to feel down about whatever with the show, and then I see some wins. I see the sub count jumped up by 10 today. To me, that's a win. Okay, we got 10 new subscribers today. Maybe tomorrow we'll get 10 new subscribers, right? Some of the people from my old radio show are sending me emails, starting to find us again, and they're subscribing. The comments and the engagement on every one of the shows is picking up. There's beginning to be more replays. People are finding the shows that streamed, 2 or 3 weeks ago and enjoying them. And again, that's a win. So I, for one, will not be bogged down by negative comments, critics, or idiots that don't know what it takes to do something like this, or don't have the courage or the passion or the dedication to do it. I'm here. I'm watering this garden every day, and this garden will grow. So, friends, on that note, I think we're going to call it a night. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here, because it is a group effort. We're all in this thing together. So until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, fellow truth seekers.